go. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in Montgomery, Alabama. I am Rabbi Scott Kramer. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I hope everyone had a nice week and ready for a restful Shabbat. I know I am. We are praying out of Sidor Lev Shalem, and we begin tonight's service, page 5, with the Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Baruch hu ni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We continue with Psalm 95, page 11. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. We continue in the English, page 11, responsively. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands formed the earth's deep. Mountain crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us. For Adonai is our God, and we are God's flock, sheep in God's caring hands. If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted like the people at the Merivah, like the time at Massah in the desert when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought. For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are a people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way. And so in anger I swore they would not enter my rest. Arba'im shanat kud bedor va'omar am toeh levavim v'hem lo yadid rachai asher nishpati v'yapi im yavaon el menuchati. Page 13. Shiru ladonai shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai bachu shamo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, sapru vagoyim kivodo, bechol ha'amim nifliotav, ki gadol Adonai. O Meholal Miyod, no Rahu, Alko Elohim, Lai, Kiko Eloi, Amim Elilim, V'Adonai shamayim asa Hod v'hadar lefanav Oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho Havu l'Adonai mishpachot amim Havu l'Adonai kavod v'oz Havu l'Adonai kevod shemaho Seu mincha Uvohu l'chatzerod av lai 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 Shtachavu l'Adonai Behadrat kodesh Chilu mipanav kol haaretz Imrum v'goyim Adonai malach Aftikum tevel balatimot Yadinamim b'meisharim Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz Ayiram mayamu melo Yalo sadai V'chol asher bo lai 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 Az yiranenu kol hatzayar Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz Yishpot tevel b'tzedek V'yamim b'emunato Yalai la lai lai yai la la lai lai Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai lai lai. We continue responsively, page 15. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine, righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about. Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth. The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory. Worshippers of idols be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God. Zion hears of it and rejoices. The cities of Judah exult as you, Adonai, pass judgment. You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Mihad Reshem Yatzilem Orzerula Tzadik Ulishrolev Simcha Simchu Tzadikim Badonai Vodu Lezecher Kadisho. Psalm 98, page 17. Amizmor Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash Ki Niflaot Asa Oshia Lo Yemino Ozaro Akocho Adia Adonai Yeshuato Le'eno Goyim Gilad Tzidkato Zachar Chasto Ve'emunato Levei Yisrael Ra'u Cholav Se'aretz Et Yeshuat Eloheinu Horiu Ladonai Kol Haaretz Bitzchum Veranenu V'zameru Zamru Ladonai Bechinor V'kol Zimera Bechatzot Rod V'kol Shofar Horiu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai Yiram Hayam U'Meloho Tevel V'yoshveva Neharod Yimcha Uchaf Yachad Harim Yiranenu Lifnei Adonai Kiva Lishbot Haaretz Yishbot Tevel B'tzedek Ve'yamim B'meisharim Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai Yai, lai, 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 lai. Page 19, Psalm 99. Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake. Adonai is great in Zion above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name, saying, Great, all-inspiring, Holy One. A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly. Exalt Adonai our God, bow down before God, the Holy One. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God. You were a forgiving God to them, even as you punished them for their transgressions. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu la'ar kadosho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We rise, page 21, Psalm 29. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod vos, havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim, el kavod hirim Adonai al mayim rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach, kol Adonai be'adar, kol Adonai shover arazim, vayishaber Adonai et alzei halvanon, vayarkidem kemo egel, Lebanon v'Sirion kemo ven rehemim, kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, vayechasop nyaharot, uvehechalo kulo omer kavod, Adonai lamabul yashav, yeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz li'amu yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. We continue page 23 with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela, Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu elam yuchad, Adonai echad u'shamo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila, Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mikora beracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshvat chila, Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela, mikdash melech ir melucha, kumitzi mitocha hafecha ravlach shevet b'yemek habacha, v'hu yachamo alaychem lalecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela, hitnarim me'afar kumi, livshei vigdei tifartech ami, Hayad ben Yishai beit alachmi, karva el nafshi geyala, Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela, hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva ore kumi ori, uri shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich nigla, Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela lo tevoshi v'lo tikami ma tishtochachi u'ma temi bach yechasu ani yami v'nivneta ira al katila lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela v'hayu lemshisa Show esayich v'rachakoko mivalayich yasis alayich Elohayich kimchas chatana kala lechadodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela yamin usmo tifroti v'yet Adonai taritzi ayadish Ben parti v'nismecha v'nagila lechadodi lekrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela. We rise and we face towards the west to greet the Shabbat bride. Last stanza of Lechadodi, page 25. Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzala toch emune am segulam bo'i chala lechadodi lekrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We continue page 27 with Psalm 92. A psalm, the song of the day of Shabbat. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name most high, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. Finger the lute, pluck the harp, let the sound of the lyre rise up. You gladden me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork. How wonderful are your works, Adonai, how subtle your designs. The arrogant do not understand, the fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms only to be destroyed forever. But you, Adonai, are exalted for all time. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As a wild bull raises up its horn, you raised my head high, anointed it with fresh oil. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming, Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no flaw. Tzadik tamar yifrach ki erez balvanon yizkeh shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva Tishenim verananim yeyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlatobo. Page 29, Psalm 93. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you were enthroned, you are eternal. The rivers rise up, Adonai. The rivers raise up their roar. The rivers raise up their waves above the vast roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean. Adonai stands supreme in the heavens. In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. Yeah, I get to make up words. Shabbat shalom to everyone. I'm so glad that we have a nice group online, and thank you for joining me, Amanda and Nathan. How you doing? Nice to see you. Just a second. been a very trying week. I'll mention this at the end, but we had a loss in our community. Jimmy Smith passed away. Just incredible man. I'll certainly talk about him at the funeral on Sunday at 2 p.m., which will be a chapel service at Leak Memory. And there will be visitation at 1, but I'll talk about that later. The Torah portion for this week is Vayishlach. We are in the beginning of the story of Jacob. He has a lot of problems. He is very manipulative and stole the birthright from his brother Esau by deception. The second one with the help of his mother, who plays favorites on these twin boys for some reason. The father, Isaac, prefers Esau, but the mother prefers Jacob. But Jacob did out and out steal the birthright. Birthright is back in tribal days. The one who was the firstborn of the chieftain inherited everything in the tribe, all of its possessions, but he had to take care of the whole tribe as well. Esau was the firstborn. He came out first, but Jacob, for whatever reason, decides he wants it instead. But throughout the Bible, we see that there's this principle called midah keneged mitah, measure for measure at play. Jacob deceives, so he is then deceived by Lavan, who Jacob's mother tells Jacob he needs to flee because his brother Esau is going to kill him, literally. So Jacob flees. Last week we read about his right before he left the territory, the boundary of Canaan and outside of Canaan. Jacob had a dream of a ladder and angels going up the ladder and down the ladder. And then Jacob makes a bargain with God that if God will protect him and bring him back, then indeed he will be his God. But when he fled to his grandfather Abraham's ancestral town where his father died. And there the wily Laban is just as tricky as Jacob and tricks Jacob into marrying his older sister Leah before the younger Rachel. And Jacob, of course, wants to marry Rachel. So now he's on his way back home. He's been gone for 21 years. He now has 4 wives. He has 13 kids, 12 sons and 1 daughter. And he realizes that he must come back to his home in Canaan, and he must at some point reconcile with his brother Esau. So he sends a messenger and finds out that Esau is coming to meet him with 400 men. That is army-sized. We read just a few portions ago that Abraham held off 5 kings and their armies when they captured his nephew Lot, and he had only 318 men. So 401 against 1 is pretty bad odds. So Jacob goes into the comfortable world of deception and sends drove after drove of his property ahead of him as gifts to appease Esau. Finally, in desperation, he splits his family into two halves, thinking that one group could escape if the other was attacked. And of course, true to Jacob's nature, he goes last, sending Rachel and Joseph just ahead of him. Just before he sets out, an extraordinary thing happens. The night before he is to set out, he sends his property and then his family across the Ma'avar Yabok, the ford of the river Yabok. When he crosses the ford and then he spends the night alone. During the night, a man finds him there and inexplicably wrestles with Jacob until the dawn. The man dislocates Jacob's hip, and Jacob realizes that this man is no ordinary man, but a divine being. Jacob asks the angel for a blessing before he leaves. What does the angel do? He changes Jacob's name to Yisrael, meaning one who has striven with God and persevered. Commentators throughout the ages have proposed many theories about what this episode could possibly mean, and also to identify the man who wrestled with Jacob. One commentator says that the man was Esau himself, or Esau's guardian angel. Another says that the man was Jacob himself. Jacob was struggling with both sides of his nature, his deceptive and distrusting nature, and his patriarchal nature. In the end, Jacob's good nature must have prevailed, and from this point on in the narrative, Jacob seems to be less deceptive and more of a leader. After he meets up with Esau, they reconcile. Jacob says that seeing the face of Esau is like seeing the face of God. Jacob finally sees Esau and sees his good nature and his potential and initiates a real repentance and reconciliation. And the two of them make plans to travel on together and meet at Esau's home. So how many times in our lives have we struggled with that inner destructive self? We get caught up with the day-to-day struggle in this highly competitive world, trying to get to the finish line first. Those who come in second lose. Maury Schwartz in Mitch Album's Tuesdays with Maury seems to have gotten it, celebrating the second place finisher in a sports match. Don't we all exhibit self-destructive behavior in an all or nothing world? Is the struggle about having more toys at the end, or is it in being able to look back at our lives and see the good we have accomplished? Is it always a goal to be right rather than compassionate and caring? Is the struggle about stroking our own egos to the detriment of those around us that we love? Why do we always have to have the last word? Should not our actions speak louder? Do we really listen to the other person? Or are we already formulating a response before trying to understand someone else's point of view? Does ideology trump decency? Who says that compromise is a sign of weakness? In the coming few days before Hanukkah, Hanukkah starts next Thursday night, may the tiny light of darkness grow with each candle and show you the path to the right struggle. May the single cruse of oil last not for one day, but many, as we keep our Jewish ethics and sensibilities in the forefront of our lives to guide us on the right path. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may these words be taken directly to our hearts and actualized in our actions. Shabbat Shalom. We continue our service with Ma'ariv. Page 39a, we rise for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Vo'ed. You may be seated. Baruch et Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzivaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. O Mahavir Yom Mevi Laila, Mavdil Ben Yom Ben Laila Adonai Tzivaot Shemo. El Chai V'Kayim Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Lamvoed Baruch atah Adonai Hamari V'Aravim. Page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amchavta Torah Mitzvot Chukim Mishpatim Otanu Limadita Al Kein Adonai Eloheinu B'Shachveinu Uvekumenu Nasiach Bechukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam vohed ki em chayenu v'orech yameinu u'vahem menege yomam v'layla V'yavadachatosi mimenu la'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ho'ela asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinanetam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shachpecha v'kumecha ukshartam neota yadecha V'hayu l'totafot b'ninecha uchtav dam nam zuzot beitecha u'visharecha v'hayim shamu tishmeu matzata asher nochi mitzavetachem yam v'yavar et Adonai Elohechem lovtohu. Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'yamarta lehem v'yasu lehem tzitzit al kanfei v'gnehem ledoratam v'natnu al tzitzit hakana petil tchelet v'haya lachem letzitzit oritem oto uzchartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam V'lo tatu racharei levavchem v'yacharei nechem asher temzonim achareihem leman dizgaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kadoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etechem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 43a. This is our enduring affirmation binding on us that Adonai is our God and there is none other. And we, Israel, are God's people. God is our sovereign, redeeming us from earthly rulers, delivering us from the hand of all tyrants, bringing judgment upon our oppressors and just retribution upon all our mortal enemies, performing wonders beyond understanding and marvels beyond all reckoning. God places us among the living, not allowing our steps to falter, and leads us past the false altars of our enemies, exalting us above all those who hate us. Adonai avenged us with miracles before Pharaoh, offered signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. God brought Israel from its midst to lasting freedom and led them through the divided water of the Sea of Reeds. As their pursuers and enemies drowned in the depths, God's children beheld the power of the divine. They praised and acknowledged God's name. Page 44. U'malchuto b'ratzon ki baleha Moshe u'Miriam u'vnei Yisrael chanishira b'simcha rabba v'yamaru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedor b'kodesh norati lod O Seifele, Machutecha uvenecha bokeyam lifnei Moshe, Zeli anu v'yamaru, Adonai imloch leolam voed, v'nemhar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalad miat chazak mimenu, baruch et Adonai, ka'al Yisrael. Page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Ushmotzetenu uveinu l'chaim ushlam yatav yad olam ufrohosalenu skat shlomecha baruch et Adonai hapochet sukat shalom aleinu v'yal kol amo Yisrael v'yal Yerushalayim. We rise, page 46. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam oti le'olam ham v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. We turn to page 47 and we pray the silent Amidah, pages 47 through 52. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol shalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol ed uv'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We continue. We remain standing as the ark is open, page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol l'teiknu l'liotzer b'reshit shelo asan kugoyei haratzot v'lo samanu kamishmachot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kohen v'goraleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim b'fnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. She'unate shamayim v'yosed haaretz u'Moshe v'yikarehu b'shamayim mimal u'shchinatu zo b'govei meromim u'Eloheinu einod emet malkeinu evazulato kakatuv b'torato. V'yadat hayom hashivota elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim mimal v'yal haaretz mitachat ein od al kein nikvel Eloheinu li rabnei b'tiva kosecha hakilu li Gagadu b'toratech Adonai loch lelam voed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz hayom ha'hu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You may be seated. This week we will observe yard sites for Frida Fast, Sam Schulman, Nell Katz Bernstein, Morris Capuano, Norman Goldfield, Margaret Matthew, Lester Shapiro, Betty Sue Fretwell Stapp, Jenny Brenner, Lorraine Smith, Sadie G. Steinberg, Dora A. Kamhi, William Cohen, Asher N. Shel Goldenberg, Sadie J. Hassan, Isaac Y. Allen, Bea Bitan, and Leon Capeluto. Those observing yard site and those who mourn, please rise and join me, page 58, for the Kadisha tone, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabba b'yama divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayedachol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'meru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'elam amen maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudisha b'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran bi'ama v'imaru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imaru amen. Ose shalom b'mamav uyase shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imaru amen. You may be seated. Thank you for joining me, for joining us for Kabbalat Shabbat. I had a lot of fun. Services will continue tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Tomorrow night, our Havdalah group that meets via Zoom, we have a time change. We're going to start meeting at 6 p.m. with the Alabama Community Virtual Havdalah. So make sure you set your alarms for 6 p.m. If you come at 7, you're going to be an hour late. So, I mean, we probably won't be there. That is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. as we finish Shabbat together. Sunday morning, the religious school, Kolami Religious School, will be meeting here at Agudath Israel, Etz Ahayem, because we have the Chanukah also taking place at 11 a.m. this Sunday morning, December 3rd. I can't believe it's December already. There will be a lunch, $7 per plate. Children are free. Food and bake sale, that's always a real highlight for everyone. Pre-loved Judaic items, not sure what that is. Cookie decorating station and dreidel games. But we have a special guest. We have Dahlia Road, Toria Stark, and Miriam Wyman will be singing beginning at sometime after 11, and you don't want to miss that. They just came out with their first CD. They will be selling them and T-shirts for Dahlia Road. I'm probably going to wear mine as well. So please come for that. As I said before, we also have a funeral on Sunday at 2 p.m. for Jimmy Smith. You should all have gotten an email with all of the details. So there will be visitation at Leak Memory at 1 p.m. The chapel service will begin at 2 p.m. Following the chapel service, we will have interment at Greenwood Cemetery. Following interment, we will have the meal of consolation for the people for Linda Smith and her family here at Agudath. Probably 3:30-ish is what I would imagine. And then following, we are going to have a Shiva Minyan that evening. I'm not sure exactly what time. There will be 5 Shiva Minyans, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 6 p.m. The first one will be in person and it'll be live streamed on Facebook Live at the Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem channel. The Monday through Thursday will be live stream only, will not be in person. Also the services, funeral, chapel, and graveside will also be on Facebook Live. So I got a lot of work to do. We do have Monday and Thursday minions, Monday and Thursday at 7:15 a.m. with breakfast following. There will be no Introduction Judaism class on Monday because of the Shiva Minyan. And Thursday, I know, is the first night of Hanukkah. We will have the last Shiva Minyan on Thursday. Not sure if we're going to light candles together or not for that. But that is, Thursday is the first candle. And there's a lot of activities going on. The city is having a candle lighting. I'm not sure what the details are, but I believe it's on the first night of Hanukkah this Thursday. I'm just not sure what the details are. Monday night, the Federation is doing a Hanukkah candle lighting with Chabad in Birmingham. It'll be here in our courtyard over there. So you're all welcome to come to that. And then the last night of Hanukkah, which is Thursday night, I believe. Well, this is invitation only, but the parents of the religious school will be at the governor's mansion, and they'll do their second annual Hanukkah lighting, candle lighting, with Coach Bruce Burrell. So that's an exciting week. That's a lot of stuff going on. So with that, we will go ahead and conclude our service, page 211, with Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'ed nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol leva ado yimloch nora Vehu haya, vehu ove, vehu yiyeh betifara, vehu yiyeh betifara, vehu echad v'yein sheni l'am shelo lehachbira, beli reshit, beli tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, Vehu Eli v'chai go'eli v'tzor chevlin b'yetzara Vehu nisi umanosli minat kosi b'yom mekra minat kosi b'yom mekra b'yado afkid ruchi b'yet ishan v'yaira v'imaruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira Adonai li v'lo ira Shabbat Shalom.